Welcome to Don't Buy the Bull, a podcast dedicated to unmasking the truth behind how so-called trusted Wall Street institutions and the American government really work. I'm your host, Cassandra Toroian. You can call me Cass. I'm a seasoned former equity analyst, investment manager, and former Wall Street Journal all-star analyst. And I'm passionate about helping people think for themselves by teaching them about things like investing, which may not be their forte. My only goal is to help you figure out how to use your own discernment and instinct to make good investment decisions for yourself. I have no skin in the game. And to do what I'd like to help you do, we have to look at the world around us, since the stock market does not operate in the bubble. So let's dive in. Hi there, I'm Cassandra Toroian, the creator and host of Don't Buy the Bull. If you're wondering where that name came from, it was the name of the first and only book I wrote about 15 years ago. It was about personal finance, but that was 15 years ago and times have certainly changed. And yet, as I thought about the name for my podcast, I thought, damn, nothing else really says it better than Don't Buy the Bull. Because we're living in a time where the world is absolutely full of bull poo-poo everywhere you look. We're deep into it. So what does that mean for why I'm here? What do I have to say? I'm here because I have a lot to say. You see, for years, I was an investment advisor. I ran my own company that I had founded. No, I don't do it anymore. I sold the company last year. And I gave up my license. And to boot, the regulatory government accused me of all kinds of bad things years earlier. And talk about bull. Wait till you hear how your government treats people, as if you probably didn't have any idea already. So the point is, I have some opinions, very strong ones, on various topics, because that's who I am. It's what I've been through. And I think it's important that people hear stories out there of different lives that they may not hear otherwise. I needed to find a way to take my voice back. And that's because it's been years that I felt like it's been silenced because I was afraid I would offend somebody, offend a client, offend, lawyer that might piss somebody off and they just throw more fines and penalties at me. So now I feel like I'm free to speak my mind. This is still America, and I believe I'm still allowed to do that as of right now. So where are we going to start? Well, I am a stock picking expert. The Wall Street Journal named me one of the top 5 stock pickers as an all-star analyst when I was pretty young, actually. And I'm pretty good at that. But that's a topic we're going to talk a lot about, is stock picking. I'm not going to give you the actual stocks to pick. I'm going to teach you, though, how to do it. But this week, at this moment, I have something on my mind, and that has to do with cancel culture. Obviously, that's a phrase that's been around now for close to 10 years, if not longer, and we've seen it ruin some pretty big companies, or at least temporarily ruin them, like Bud Light's little fiasco, or even Target a couple of years ago with their gender neutral swimwear. Yeah. So that's cancel culture. But have you heard of bank cancel culture? If you haven't, here's what you need to know. It's a real thing, and it's been on the rise for the last couple of years. The number of small businesses and small fries like you and me being canceled by their bank is on the rise big time. And I want to talk about what that means, why it's happening, and what you and I can start to try and do about it. So what is bank cancel culture? Well, There's been a couple of articles by the New York Times even about this issue. It's essentially where one day you go to use your debit card to pay for something and it won't work. And you call your bank and the bank says to you, oh, yeah, we've canceled your debit card. There could be plenty of money in there. It's not that there isn't. We've canceled your debit card and we are closing your bank accounts. And you have nothing to say about it. In fact, they'll just say, well, just like you can change banks, you have that choice. We have the choice to choose to do business with you or not. Why? Why would that be? And why is this on the rise? Well, it's a complicated subject. And the reason why it's top of my mind is because, frankly, it just happened to me and my mother. Been a long time bank client of PNC Bank, which is a fairly major banking institution in this country. My personal accounts, my business accounts, my mom had her personal accounts there. Poor woman one day decided to go buy her dog Zippy some dog food, went to the PetSmart and gave her debit card, and boom, it didn't work. So, of course, she was very upset, very embarrassed. She's 84 years old and had no idea why. She knew she had money in the account. So she ended up paying cash, went home, called the bank, and they told her, oh, yeah, we canceled your debit card. And by the end of the month, all of your bank accounts will be closed. So you better move out of the bank now. If there's any money left at the end of the month, we're going to send it back to you in a check. I was shocked when she told me this. And so little did I know, because my mom and I have almost the same name, that they had done the same thing to me. And I went to use my debit card and all of a sudden it didn't work. And I suddenly realized this is frightening, frightening. Imagine not being able to access your cash. It's one thing if you have a bank branch down the street that you can go and say, hey, I would like to take some money out of my account. But if you don't have a bank branch near you, you're pretty much effed. So, what did I do? Well, I'm a lucky one. I started to do my own research on this and read some articles about how PNC Bank in particular was known for this, that they had been one of the top banks with canceling clients. And in fact, they even did so with one of the Donald Trump's sons a couple of years ago as well, when he had started a new business and opened accounts there. So I guess I'm in good company, if you will. But why? Why would they do this? Well, of course, they live under a lot of regulations as well. We've got the Patriot Act, and we've got anti-money laundering, and know your client, and all kinds of things. And basically, not only that, but look what they did to the people on January 6th, looking to banks to give the FBI information about where they were spending their money. Was it in Washington, D.C., off of their debit cards? What kinds of things were they buying? There was even just a whole Senate's subcommittee, I believe, on this very topic, looking into what kind of things the banks were just handing over to the FBI without a warrant. Because apparently, if you shopped at Cabela's, or you bought a gun, or you donated to the Republican Party, you're on that list. And so I suspect that's maybe why I'm on the list, is because they decided that, I had donated to the Republican Party, or I had, the fact that I had been sued and settled, a lawsuit with the federal government. They didn't like that. Regardless, there was nothing I could do about it. And I even called some friends of mine that are pretty high up in banking at other places, and they confirmed for me that, they can do this anytime they want. And basically, the best thing I could do was go open new bank accounts elsewhere quickly and just let it roll off of me. So that's what we did. My mom and I both had to go do this. And fortunately, I already had banking relationships elsewhere, so I wasn't too concerned about that. But what I really, really took issue with was the process in which PNC Bank went about this. To cancel someone's debit card and potentially leave them out on the street in a very precarious situation is absolutely unconscionable and shameful. And PNC Bank, you should be ashamed of yourselves. That's all I can say. To leave an 84-year-old woman standing at a cash register, unable to use her debit card. What if she had a flat tire and needed to have a tow truck come? There are just so many bad possibilities that could have happened, and the lack of respect and thoughtfulness that these folks showed really, really speaks a lot. So anyway, let that be your guide. So basically, what are we going to do about it? Well, I don't think there's much we can really do about it under this current regime. What I think is we've got to be smart. And I know there are a couple of financial institutions out there that are talking about not canceling people and giving their word that they will never cancel someone because of their politics or because of what they may have purchased, as long as obviously it's not an illegal purchase. And so that's a good thing that there's some, let's call it anti-cancel culture popping up out there in the banking industry. Not to mention we have these sort of quasi banks now, which are, more fintech related. They're not technically licensed banks. They're sort of borrowing a license from an existing bank, but you can certainly do a lot of banking through one of those as well. But bottom line is that this is not going away. And I would urge everyone to really look at what kind of bank relationship they have and make sure that you have an out or some backup bank accounts elsewhere. Even if it's $100 at your local credit union, it is important. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode. I really do appreciate it. Be sure to subscribe to the show, and that way you'll get updates about new episodes. Or if you really liked it, maybe you can share it to other folks you know. That I would really appreciate. So until next time, this is your reminder not to buy the bull. Ciao.